Conor McGregor's fall from grace is something that should be studied by experts for years to come. The guy went from being on top of the world to calling out Diego Sanchez and breaking his leg against Dustin Poirier. He didn't always used to be a creepy whiskey salesman and a legendary respecter of the elderly. He used to be the best striker in UFC history. Simply put, early Conor McGregor was about precision and timing. Current Conor is about power and speed.
But precision beats power, and timing beats speed.
I know his later career has hurt his legacy significantly, but let's remember, the guy used to be 9-1 in the UFC, double champ, with 7 of those wins by vicious knockout. Even in his later career, you can see the flashes of brilliance on the feet. His distance management in particular, sliding out of range as opposed to moving completely out of it, which allows Conor to always be prepped for a counter shot. The beauty of his earlier style was the ability to either snipe you with his hands or keep you at range with his kicks. If you had the idea to avoid the pocket against him, he'd just do what he did against Mendez and throw body kicks until your hands finally drop. Something you might have noticed from the title was the word still. Can Conor still beat Chandler? And the reason for that is simple. Chandler is the chinniest lightweight since Jonathan Goulet. This isn't even MMA math, it's just common sense. If 60-year-old Tony Ferguson can drop Chandler, what do you think a sniper like Prime McGregor would do to him? But this is by no means a Prime McGregor. After seeing him twitching next to Gyllenhaal like he just recreated that Elmo meme, I'm starting to understand Dana's hesitance to book the guy. I mean, hell, Conor's already shown up to press conferences high as fuck. You think there's absolutely no chance he'd show up to fight night like that? I mean, he might have already. Michael Chandler, on the other hand, has been outside McGregor's mansion with a boombox for going on 2 years. I get that he wants that payday, and he does deserve it, but part of me was hoping for Conor's fight announcement to be against, like, Diaz or something, just for the hilarity.
Conor McGregor! Get your candy ass back to the octagon!
Chandler has a real well-rounded skill set. He's the epitome of a mixed martial artist. His bread and butter's in the wrestling, with the stereotypical overhand right that all wrestlers have for some reason. Conor has absolutely destroyed everyone with Chandler's style. He's talked about how comfortable he is with that style over and over again, the wrestler with an overhand right.
His style, I've been whooping that style a long, long time. He's a stocky, stuffed wrestler with an overhand, that's it.
I'm comfortable with that style opponent.
This is a horrendous matchup for Chandler on paper, but they don't fight on paper, they fight in the cage. How much does Conor even train anymore? I mean, it seems like he cares a lot more about acting and nose candy these days.
Forget skill for a second. I'm talking about passion. You've got people questioning whether or not the passion to do this is still there for you. Where do you think they get that from?
You know, am I the hungry lion I once was? You know, maybe not. It's certainly different, but I'm now the fat cat.
We've seen what happens when he gets clean and puts his heart into the fight game. But is this even the same man anymore? Like, watch this clip and tell me that Conor gives a flying fuck about this in 2024. I remember him saying a long time ago that partying weakens the mind, and it really seems like he forgot about all of that. I really liked Conor when he was just some Irish boxer that believed in the law of attraction.
You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. You can be anything you want to be. Do anything you set out to accomplish if you hold to that desire with singleness of purpose.
But to be kind of the crude whiskey salesman that he is nowadays, it makes me wonder who he can still beat. Where is he at now? This fight will go one of two ways. Conor McGregor will give us quite possibly one last moment of greatness, before he inevitably runs into a buzzsaw like Gaethje or Islam. Conor can blame the last few years on inactivity and say that his only losses were to Khabib and Dustin, 2 of the greatest lightweights of all time. He can set himself up nicely for whoever holds the lightweight title, and maybe finagle his way into one last title shot. Hell, let's go above and beyond. Maybe he learns enough from his mistakes against Khabib, and he's able to beat Islam, who's objectively a slightly lesser version of Khabib. And what a story that would be. Or Conor continues to show his lack of dedication, and we see possibly the worst version of Conor we've ever seen. Michael Chandler finishes him, maybe even on the feet. Conor probably retires, and the last image of him in the cage is getting KO'd by a guy whose previous KO was over a guy that gets senior citizen discounts at movie theaters. McGregor has the chance to write a lot of his story with just this one fight.
I have to finish the story.
Is this the start of some kind of resurgence, or the last breath of a dying MMA career? Will we see 2014 Conor, or presumed 2024 Conor? Does Conor still have it in him, or will this be one last moment showcasing the career that was, but also the career that could have been? That's the toughest thing about the sport, but it's also the best thing about this sport. You just never know.